Chapter 5, Lesson 1 deals with evaluating expressions. This is going to be notes part 1, so it's going to go by quickly, hopefully. On page 350, you will see in your books reminding you of what a letter and right next to a number actually means. It actually means to multiply. Okay, so here's the two terms that you're responsible for knowing: algebra and coefficient. Coefficient is going to be the number that is with the letter. So the number that is multiplying the letter, we're going to be calling that the coefficient. So here's 4 different examples of where you're dealing with a variable. Let's move on. On page 350, you see 3 different examples of how to substitute, what is given to you in place of the letter or the variable. So if you look at number 1, 2, and 3, they substitute the value in place of a letter. So look at number 1. You have 2 times n plus 3. So instead of writing n, put -4 in its place, and then go ahead and simply solve the expression. You end up getting -2. In number 2, you have 2 letters or 2 variables, and when you rewrite the expression, you substitute the 5 in place of the W and the 3 in place of the V. This time, you multiply, before you subtract. You end up getting 34. Number 3 is tricky because you have to be really good with the powers, if you remember what a power is. So this one, we have a y is raised to the power of 3. So if y equals 3, then substitute that in place of y, and look at what you happen to do with the 3. You raise it to the power of 3. Notice that this is not just 3 times 3. This is 3 raised to the power of 3, which means you're multiplying it to yourself 3 times. And that's how they got 27. And then follow through with the order of operations and you get 110. So down below you see the guided questions on page 350. Let's go ahead and do A and B together, and then you guys can do the rest on your own. So I already wrote down C minus 3, which is just rewriting the expression. Then I rewrote the expression substituting what C actually is. C is actually equal to 8. So when I take 8 minus 3, I get 5. And that's my answer. Okay, if we look at B, this time we're taking 15 minus C. So instead of 15 minus C, I'm going to write 15 minus 8 because C equals 8. When I get 15 minus 8, I get 7. Okay, so at this time, go ahead and pause your video, do C, D, E, and F, and then push play when you're ready for the answers. Okay, check your answers for C, D, E, and F. If you notice, I put a star next to D because when you get 16 minus a -20, because 4 times -5 got you -20, you can actually do the additive inverse property and change it to addition, because when you change it to addition, remember you have to change the sign of the second number or the following number. Check your answers, correct any mistakes that you may have, continue on to the next slide. Alright, here on page 351, number 4, or example 4, gives you a formula. And in the future, for when you get into geometry and you start dealing with shapes, you're going to have formulas. So basically, they give you the formula, and then once you, all you have to do is practice substituting the information that is known in order to plug into the formula and then solve that formula. So here they show you how to plug in 15 in place of A, and then they show you how to solve it from there. Well, if you look in the middle of the page on 351, you'll see that they give you the area, or they give you the formula for area of a triangle. And then they tell you that the height of the triangle is 6 inches, while the height stands for the H. They tell you that the base of it is 8 inches, while B stands for base. So all you're going to do is plug 6 in place of the H, 8 in place of the B, and then solve it like you would normally. But you have to understand that B and H together like that means to multiply. So I'm going to write it down here. Whatever I write on here, I need you to write in your book, please. So this is going to be 8 times 6 over 2. So 8 times 6 is 48. And then we divide that by 2, and you get 24. So the question was, what is the area? So then the area is 24 inches squared. And I'll explain when we get into geometry why area has this little number 2 as the exponent. So 24 inches squared. Okay, go ahead and turn the page. Go to guided practice on page 352. Go ahead and evaluate numbers 1, 2, and 3 when m is equal to 2, n is equal to 6, and p is equal to -4. Pause the video, do the problems, press play when you're ready for the answers. Okay, please take note of the answers. If you have any questions about number 3, I tried to show you step by step of why it is -384. So if you have any further questions about that particular problem, please come and see me. Otherwise, move on. Please complete the independent practice on page 353, only questions 1 through 9. When you're done, come see me for the results.